So here we can see the eye, front side, outer side we see there are three parts of the eye. So this white part is called as, the white part is called as, yes, anyone who were present for the last class? Name is written there already. And then also,
It's Clara.
no, out front part here we are telling about. This is the eye, front side when we see our eyes. This is white part, white bulged part, bulge that is which comes out
Yeah.
outwards. That is called as cornea. So this outer bulged part is called as cornea. From front side, if you see, this is the white part of our eye. That is called as cornea. Cornea's function of the cornea is the
Protect our eyes.
protects our eye, as well as it is the window of the eye through which the light enters our lenses. Inside the eye it will go for the refraction. So here eye's main function is to refract the light and form the image. Refraction means, what do you mean by refraction? What do you mean by refraction of light?
Ma'am, traveling of the ray of light from one medium to the other.
And what happens at that time?
Ma'am, ma'am, it changes its direction.
This changes its direction, it bends. So light ray bend while moving from one medium to another medium. So that bending of the light ray, when it travels from one transparent medium to another transparent medium, is called as refraction. So eye works on the refraction. The image is formed due to refraction of light. So for that, first part of the eye is the cornea. This diagram is important. The question is asked for 5 marks. Draw the diagram of eye and write the functions of few parts will be given. You have to write the function of those parts. It is always asked question. So you have to draw this diagram. It is compulsory diagram. Every time it will be asked. So cornea is the window of the eye. The light enters the eye through this window, that is cornea. Most of the refraction, that is most bending of the light happens through cornea. And also it has some liquid part. So that is aqueous humor. It consists of aqueous humor. Due to presence of aqueous humor, the foreign particles, dust particles, microbes stuck in that liquid, and this liquid won't allow these infectious agents, these pathogens to affect the eye. So it will not enter the eye, and therefore the eye will be remain protected, because infection will happen in this one that can be managed. But if the infection is in this area, managing is much more difficult. It cannot be managed properly. The eye has to be removed. That infection cannot be easily cured. So any infection should not occur to this inner part. Only outer part, if it is infection is there, that can be cured by adding eye drops and all this. But not this one. We cannot do anything for this part. So therefore, cornea doing the protection part for this. It will prevent all these infectious agents to enter. So these aqueous humor and the cornea, sticky part, the foreign particles, that is the dust particles, many pollen grains, or metal particles, or microorganisms will stuck in this liquid portion and will protect the eye from all these infections. Then in between this, if you can see, this is the circle. Here it is a blue circle you can see, or most of the people have black part. This part is black color. So what is this? This is called as iris. This circular part is called as iris. So here you can see this part is there. It is this part is the iris part. So this iris has two parts. The iris consists of two parts, iris pigment and iris muscles. So function of iris pigment is to Function of iris pigment is to impart the color to the eye. Colored pigment it consists of. So depending on the color the iris has, the color of the eye is possible. So color of the different people have different color eye. What are those? Different color eyes are
Black,
commonly it is black,
brown,
brown,
blue,
blue,
gray.
gray, right?
Ma'am,
So greenish also sometimes, yeah.
when I Google, like it was said that there's no like eye color as black, it's dark brown.
It's dark brown. It is actually the refraction when won't takes place. Reflection won't takes place, that it looks like black. But it is black color is there. Black color means black color is actually not there. When light from that area won't reach, that is black. There is no black color anytime. So any part which absorbs the light completely, it won't reflect the light. Then that is called as black color. Okay. So these are the colored pigments present in the iris due to which the color of the eye is possible. So what color of the eye is because of that iris, and that is completely hereditary material. So that is inherited part. This is the character which is inherited from the parents. So whatever the character the child receives, according to that, the color of that iris will be there. Okay. Then another function, another part of the iris is iris muscles. So function of muscle is to contract and relax. So due to the contraction and relaxation of iris muscles, there is a in between, there is again you can see one dark spot. So this dark hole we call it as, that dark hole is called as pupil, P-U-P-I-L, pupil. So this is pupil. This is again the one small hole. This is the small hole through which light enters and falls on this lens. The pupil is like a curtain. The pupil has to regulate the amount of light entering the eye and falling on the lens. More amount of light should not enter than the limit. There is a limit. More than that should not enter, or less than that also should not enter. So that regulation of the particular number of light rays is managed by this hole called as pupil. It depends on the size of the pupil. So size of the pupil is reduced or increased depending on the light outside. If suppose there is a bright light, in the summer season, bright light, we are not able to open our eyes. That is actually done for our protection itself. Because when more number of light rays falls on this lens, and through lens, the light rays get reflected, and then the light rays actually moves like this way. The light rays through this hole, it will enter like this, falls on this lens, and then they refract. So here it will fall like this, and they refract at one position. When they fall like this, it will move through lens and they produce this one. So this way, the image is formed in this direction. In this way, the image is formed on this retina. Now, when many rays enter and falls on this area, what will happen? The sunlight actually consists of heat. Those rays consist of heat energy. So if many number of heat energy rays, the rays which consist of heat energy, if falls on one particular area, what will happen?
Ma'am, will damage the area.
Damage that retina, damage that skin. It will be completely damaged. That should not happen. If that damaged, it cannot be cured. Then we have to replace the eye. So that should not happen. So for that reason, the amount of light entering the eye should be regulated. So when there is a bright light, then the amount of light falling on the moving inside the eye should be reduced. So for that reduction, the size of this pupil is reduced, becomes short. So that is less number of light will enter. Okay. And in dim light, now dim light, we want to see some more things. So in that case, the more amount of light should enter from the one particular object. So that is we can see that object clearly. So when there is a dim light outside, then more number of light rays should enter. So that is we can see the object clearly. For that purpose, this hole size should be increased. Then only more number of rays will enter, right? So the size of this pupil has to be increased or decreased depending on the light outside. Bright light outside, then less number of light should enter, and for that the size of pupil should be reduced. And when more number dim light is there, then more light should enter. For that reason, the pupil size should be increased. So this size of this pupil is increased or decreased with the help of this muscles called as iris muscles. So iris muscles regulates the size of this pupil. Size of pupil decrease or increase with the help of the muscles attached to this pupil. Muscles attached to this pupil. If the muscles contract, the size will become short, and muscles relax, that means they move outward, then the size will increase. Clear? So iris muscles helps in regulating the size of pupil. And what is the function of this pupil? This dot, it will increase and decrease. That means it will regulate the amount of light entering the eye. Clear? Function of iris and pupil, is it clear to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Everyone, did you understood or not?
Ma'am.
Yes.
Then behind the pupil, there is a lens, that is an eye lens, which is convex, converging type of eye lens is present, converging shape structure. Now this eye lens is not made up of a glass, not crystal. It is jelly-like substance. It is again made up of chemical, which is a jelly-like chemical, and it is highly flexible. So due to its flexibility, size of this lens will keep on changing. That size of the lens can be changed. Why it is need to be changed? Because the person has to see the object shorter distance also and longer distance also. The object can be present very close to the eye, and sometimes the object present very far away, 100-kilometer distance also. When you are on the hilltop, you can see a very large distance objects also you can see. So that is possible because of the changing size of this lens. So size of lens or thickness of this lens keep on changing. So for that change in size, the lens should be flexible. Your spectacle lens won't change, but the eye lens size is keep on changing. Size, that means actually the thickness is keep on changing. And that is done with the help of the muscles which hold this lens intact. Those muscles are called as ciliary muscles. So ciliary muscles which are present on both the sides of the lens, which will attach the lens, hold this lens at one particular position. So the function of these muscles in which this lens is holded, just like if you take a example, pen, suppose I will consider. If this is a pen, like this is a lens, it is. Now this is holded by the two things on the top and bottom. So these are the muscles which stretches it and which compress it. So which expand this and which will compress also. When you expand, means when those muscles will pull the lens, what will happen to the thickness? When the muscles will pull the lens away, what will happen?
The thickness will decrease.
Thickness will decrease, like it will become flat like this. And when it compress, then the size will become like this, bulged, more thickness, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So this is needed to change the focal length of the lens so that the this one, whatever the distance objects are, the image will be formed on this screen called as retina. So this is the inner layer of the eye, which is called as retina. On this retina, image will be formed. Real image will be formed on the retina, and this is possible by, means exactly the distance between the lens and the retina won't change. So to make this possible, that is image will be always formed at the same position. This is possible only when the focal length of the lens will change. So to change the focal length, the thickness of this lens has to be changed. So thickness is short. The shorter lens means a lesser, thicker lens has more focal length. You can see here, thickness of this lens is very less. So focal length, the rays were converged on the midline. That is called the focus. When the rays falls on the lens, rays parallel to the axis falls on the lens, they converge the beam of light. So all of them will converge at one particular point. So that point is called as focus. The distance between the center of the lens and the focus is called focal length. So this focal length has to change for due to change in objects. To see the objects which are present at different positions, the focal length of the lens should be changed. So when lens becomes flat, that is, this is thickness decreases, the lens will become flat. In that case, the focal length will increase. And this is needed to see the objects which are very far away to us. So when the objects are very far away to us, those can be seen when the lens thickness decreases and the focal length will increase. This focal length will be the object. Till the object, it will increase. This focal length should increase till that object which you want to see. And if you want to see the near distant objects, when you want to read and write, when you are seeing right now on your mobile or the laptop, these are distances are very less. When you are seeing them, when you want to read anything or written on that laptop or the mobiles, so the distance is very close. These letters are very close to you. So to see these objects clearly, the focal length of the lens should be reduced. It should come very close. For this case, the size of the thickness of the lens should increase. The lens should become bulged. Lens should become more bulged. So this is done by compressing the lens, and that is done by ciliary muscles. So ciliary muscles compress the lens. The thickness of the lens increases. When thickness increases, the focal length will reduce. When focal length is reduced, you will be able to read these things clearly, read these letters clearly. So size of the lens has to be changed to see different distance objects. And therefore the eye lens should be more flexible, as well as the function of ciliary muscles will be utilized for this. The ciliary muscles contracts or relax, and because of the contraction and relaxation of ciliary muscles, the size of eye lens, thickness of the eye lens changes, and we can see at the same time, we can see fraction of a second we see nearby distant objects, fraction of second we see the far point distant objects clearly. Clear? Function of lens and ciliary muscles.
Yes, ma'am.
Then behind the lens, inside the eyeball, there is a liquid. It is not actually liquid, semi-solid jelly-like substance is present, which is called as vitreous humor. Just like aqueous humor was outside. Now inside that, there is a vitreous humor. Liquid jelly-like substance is filled. This full eyeball is filled with some jelly-like substance. That is called as vitreous humor. And function of vitreous humor to maintain the shape of the eye. The shape of the eye should not change. Size of the eye should not change. That is done. It is fixed by the vitreous humor, which is present inside. It is completely ball, is filled with that liquid, that semi-solid substance. Okay. Now the outer bulged part of the eye is called as retina, which is the screen of the eye, where the image is formed. The image is formed on the screen, that is the retina. Show you how it is possible. The size of the eye, how it is changing. The thickness of the eye, how it is changing, I showed you. That page is called software. So remove that. Image is formed on this retina, on the screen that is called as retina. So retina is the screen of the eye, and it also consists of some sensitive cells. The cells which senses the information. Whenever the image is formed on the retina, that is sensed by the sensors called as different rod-shaped and cone-shaped cells. Rod-shaped cells, also called as rods, and cone-shaped cells called as cones, also called as cones. Okay. So these cells are present in the retina. The function of these rods and cones are: rods senses the information about brightness. Rods cells senses the information about brightness of the light. So how brightness that image is, how brighter that image is sensed by the rods, and the cones sense the dimness of the image as well as the color of the image, which color the image is, what color you are seeing. All those information is sensed by cones, and both these cells convert this information about the image in the electrical signals. Electrical impulses are produced by these cells. Rods and cones converts information, optical information, into electrical image, electrical symbol signals. So those electrical signals are carried out with the help of the optic nerves. Nerves which enter the eye are called as optic nerves. So these optic nerves carries that information towards the brain, and brain will give you there is a one particular area where this processing of this information is done. So this information about the image is processed, and then you will get to know what you are seeing, what you have seen just now, what is the information about that things. It will calculate it with the help of brain, and you will understand what exactly you are seeing. If any pen comes in front of you, you will see that it is a pen. How you'll get to know that it is a pen? You see only this white stick. How you will get to know that it is a pen? How you know it is a pen? Yes, anyone? If apple fruit I bring in front of you, how you'll get to know that it is apple fruit?
Because we know it from the start that it's an apple.
Yeah, from the beginning, it is emphasized on you that this is apple, this is apple, this is apple. So therefore, you got to know that it is apple. If banana it is there, you call it banana as apple.
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
But small kids of the age of 2 years, they can call.
Yes, ma'am.
Why? Because it was not completely prone to them. Means they are not, means this, and that is the teaching time. So we are every people, your parents are keep on telling you that this is banana and this is apple. They are distinguishing because we have given a particular name to those objects. So therefore, it was in your mindset, it is stored in your brain, in memory. There is a memory of about that object. Whenever you see that object, immediately you will say the name of that object. And if you don't know, then you will give any name, right? Because it was not seen by you. Any animal, right now, suppose you have not seen, what you will call it? You see it first time. Then you don't know its name. You can call anything to it. But thing is, if any parrot comes in front of you or any dog come in front of you, you will tell it is a dog because it was told to you from the beginning, from the childhood time. And it is stored in your memory, brain. So brain will, when the image of the dog or image of the parrot falls on your eye I will send that information to the brain. Then brain will see that image and it will calculate the memory from the, it will find out from the memory what exactly this is. And then you will get to know that is this is a dog or that is a parrot bird is there. Clear? So this processing is done by the brain itself. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
So this is what the eye is. Again, two more parts are there. This is one fovea, and here at one point is there that is called as blind spot. So what is fovea? Fovea is the region in the retina where if the image is formed at that position, you will see it very clearly. Very clear image of that object is formed. That place is called as fovea. If the image is formed at fovea, that image or the object you see very clearly. And the blind spot is the place where the optic nerve enter the eye. So at this place, there are rods and cones are not present. So any information of the image formed at this position cannot be converted into electrical signals. So brain can't receive that information. So therefore, you can't see anything at that place. If any image is formed at this place, brain can't receive the information about that image, and therefore you can't see that image. So therefore, this place is called as blind spot.
Ma'am, like if it reflects in a blind spot, we can't see it.
No, we can't see anything.
Like, how does it happen?
Because at this place, if the image is formed, that image cannot be transferred to the brain because that there are no rods and no cones present at this position. So how the information is sensed? Senses are not present. They won't sense that information.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. So anything kept at this position is not clear to you. You can't see clearly, right?
Yes, ma'am.
You move your iris towards this end, this nose area. Is it possible to see? That's not possible. So that is that area because image of this portion is formed on the blind spot. We can't find out that.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, clear blind spot and fovea. It is also called as yellow spot. All the functions of all the parts clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Then I will give you this image on WhatsApp. You draw that. Drawing is important. Question is asked for 5 minutes. Then write down these points. All the functions of all the parts right now, what I've shown you, told you, all these points are here. Keep space for diagram. Have you done? Have you done?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
Ma'am, done. Ma'am, done.
Last one.
After this chapter is over?
Yeah, one small part is left. It's care of an iron Braille script.
Ma'am,
Yes.
ma'am, actually our exams are starting from 25th.
Okay.
Sound and reproduction is coming.
Almost we have completed everything now. The last two chapters are left out.
Yes, ma'am.
Completed?
Ma'am, 1 second.
Everyone completed?
Done, ma'am.
The next is defects of an eye. So that is you have seen people wearing spectacles or you might be wearing spectacles. For what reason you are wearing spectacles? What's the reason?
Not able to see far objects.
Far object.
Okay, so the people are not able to see far distant objects clearly. Sometimes it looks blur. So in that case, we use, and that is not only the one factor. There are another factors also. Some of the people can't see the nearby distant objects clearly. So some people, if you see elder people, when elder people are not able to see the things clearly which are very close to them, so they are not able to read and write properly. You have seen after the age of near about 40-50 years of age, the people are not able to see the things very clear to them, near to them. So such defects, there are defects, the two defects mainly are there. When the objects are is not able to see a very far distant objects clearly, it looks very blur to them. Just like exactly simple example in your words, it is when you are sitting or any student is sitting in the last bench of the class and he is not able to read and write written on the board in the classroom. If he is sitting on the very last bench and the front side the board is present, if anything teacher is written, he is by naked eyes he is not able to see read them clearly. So that means that student has some problem. So that problem is called as myopia or short sightedness. What is it called?
Myopia.
Myopia, and that is also called as short sightedness. That means his short sight, the short distant objects can be seen clearly, but the long distant objects cannot be seen clearly. Then that is called as short sightedness or myopia. So in this case, the person can read and write properly. Nearby reading and writing, we are keeping our books clear, so clearer objects, nearer objects can be clear, can be seen clearly, but the far distant objects cannot be seen clearly. This is called myopia. So what happens in this case? Exactly what happens in this case? So this is the actual normal eye structure. Are you able to see?
Yes, ma'am.
So the when the rays from the very far distance that you can see clearly is called as far point or infinity. So from infinite distance, the person can see, normal adult can see any object which is present at infinite distance can be seen clearly. So what happens from in that case, in the person who has a problem? So from very far away distance, when the rays reach the eye lens, they will converge at this point. And here there is no retina, that means no rods and no cones. So the information about this image cannot be transferred to the brain, because in this case the ciliary muscles, actually that happens because of the ciliary muscles. When to see a far distant objects clearly, I told you the eye lens should become flat. That means the thickness should decrease. That happens by the ciliary muscles relaxation. So when the ciliary muscles, which are holding this lens, they should relax, and due to which they should shrink the size of the eye. That means the eye size should, thickness of the eye should become, lens's thickness should reduce, and then only focal length of that lens should increase to a very high distance. But that is not happening. The ciliary muscles are not working properly. They are not able to stretch the eye to a maximum limit, and due to which the focal length is not able to change to that particular object. And therefore, rays from that object, when falls on the eye, they will reach at this position where there is no retina, no choroids, no cones. So the information will not be processed by brain and the person can't see the things clearly. But this defect can be corrected by using spectacles. So in spectacles, the person has to use concave lens. The spectacle should have concave lens. This is a concave lens. Okay. So the defect can be cleared by using that spectacle. So what happens due to that? When the rays from far distant objects first falls on this spectacle, okay, then that spectacle will form the image at point O. This is which is closer to the eye. Now there, for this eye, there is no problem from this distance. Anything beyond this distance he can't see. But anything in this limit is there, then he is able to see, because the rays from this will falls on the lens and the image is formed on the retina. Able to understand this point?
Yes, ma'am.
So any point, this is the limit for this eye. Beyond this limit, that eye is not able to see anything clearly. That person is not able to see clearly beyond this limit. So anything lesser than this distance, the rays will fall on the retina and the brain can process that information and the person can see that object clearly. But the problem is beyond this, anything is present. Rays from that object is reaching here. So brain is not able to process. So what is our aim to do? We have to bring that object's distance, which is present beyond this O. Whatever the objects are present, the image of that object should be formed at O or lesser than O. So this lens, this spectacle having concave lens do that function. The rays from that object, which this eye can't see, the rays from that first falls on the spectacles. Then this spectacle forms the image at O. Then from this O, the rays will fall on the eye lens and then the image is formed on the retina. Clear? Able to understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So this is what the function of spectacle.
Ma'am, can you explain again?
The person is able to, he's a generally normal adult person, can see the images from what distance? A far distance means how much distance? Any far distant objects you can see clearly when you are not wearing spectacles. So what is that distance? How much maximum distance you can see any object clearly? It can be anything. That is infinity, we can consider it, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So this happens when the focal length will increase to that much level. But sometimes due to ciliary muscles are not working properly, the lens should become completely flat. That is not happening. Due to which what happened? This is suppose this point we will take, this is a changed position of the object. Anything below this O, anything between lens and this O, anything is present, the person is able to see the image because the rays from that falls on the lens and converge at this position. That is on retina. Retina sends the information and processes it. So he will see. But problem is anything beyond this O. That means suppose 100-meter distance only. This position is 100-meter distance because now that position is changed from infinity to 100 meters. So anything below 100-meter distance, the person is able to see. But anything beyond 100-meter distance, the person is not able to see. Why? Because you can see here O dash position, which is beyond O, more than 100-meter distance. Any rays from that object falls on the eye, what is happening? They are converging in between lens and retina. So image is formed here. To sense this image, is there any rods and cones are present?
No, ma'am.
There are no rods, no cones, so they can't sense that information and can't send that information to the brain. So brain won't receive the image information. He can't say you what you are able to see. He is not able to tell you. The brain is not able to explain you. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
This is the problem. Now, how to clarify this problem? By wearing a spectacle having concave lens. So concave, the person has to wear a spectacle having concave lens. So what is the function of concave lens? Anything beyond this O, any object is present. The light rays from that object, instead of falling on the lens, they first fall on this spectacle. This spectacle, according to its property, it will form the image of O dash to O. So which is this O. Clear? Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Now this image will become object for the eye lens. So the rays from this O or image now falls on the eye lens and they converge on retina. And then retina, that is rods and cones, sends the information and send the information to the brain. Then brain will process that. Able to understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Now clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So the people who are wearing spectacles, they are not actually seeing the object, they are actually seeing the images of the object, which is formed by the spectacle. So first, object's image is formed by this spectacle lens at the in the range of the eye lens. Now this image's rays falls on the eye and the image is formed on the retina. And then the brain will process that information and you are able to see the things. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Clear somewhat? Myopia means short-sightedness means what and how it is the why you are wearing spectacles. Now, whatever the people you are wearing spectacles, you are wearing the concave lens spectacles. Spectacle having concave lens because small kids or kids till 40 or any person till 40, they don't have any problem with the short side, with the short distance. So they have every kid, generally almost all 99% of the kids having the problem of myopia. Hypermetropia is only for elder people. Very rare people, kids have the hypermetropia problem. Everyone has myopia only. Okay, most common defect is myopia.
Ma'am,
Yeah.
what if the people who have myopia, they turn 40 and they get the other one?
Other one is generally for everyone. 90% cases after 40.
So how?
They
so
will
how
have both the
they wear?
problems.
So how will they wear specs? I mean, two specs.
This spect. This is they are wearing two lenses. Here is a small lens and this is another one. When you are reading, where you are see, you look downwards,
Yes.
Yes,
right?
ma'am.
And when you look far distant objects, where how you will see? You move your head up.
Yes.
So while reading and writing, you are using this part, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And when you are seeing very far away distance, you will use this portion.
Yes, ma'am.
So this portion is concave lens and this portion is convex lens. Who have both the defects, they will use this lens. That is called bifocal lens. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Generally, you can see with the your very elder people, they have the one corner at the bottom. There is a corner. This is, you can see the differences in the lenses. That is called bifocal lens. These two parts you can see clearly, and the spectacles you can see these two parts separations in some spectacles. If you see for elder peoples, very elder people, 60, 70 years of age, they are using this spectacle generally. Nowadays it is 50 years old also. Okay, clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
And this is myopia. Next class we'll start with the hypermetropia and the final. So tomorrow, next class, it will get over. This chapter get over.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, fine. You can leave now.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank
And
you,
still
ma'am.
some people have not uploaded homework. They have to upload.
Thank you, Mom.
Okay.